I woke up and the house was empty. My mother had sold all my furniture and gone on a trip. He said, "Your sister deserves Paris, son." I just smiled. 14 days later, they returned. I had prepared a much bigger gift for her. When she saw it, she went silent. My name is Griffin. I'm 28, a videographer, the oldest kid, and the person in my family who's good with cameras and invoices. Translation: I'm the one they call when something needs to be filmed for free, moved for free, or paid for just this once. I rent a small house on the edge of town with a lemon tree out back and a mailbox that leans like it's tired of bad news. I keep my gear and label cases. I keep my head down. I keep the peace. My sister is Sloane. She's the golden one. Always has been pretty charming, quick with a joke, the type who gets a flat tire and ends up with two guys changing it for her while she posts a story about angel energy. In every photo, she's in the middle. In every conversation, she's almost about to do something huge. Music degree, fashion internship, content creator, residency. The money for those almost came from somewhere. Usually me. I grew up learning to be useful. If Dad said, "Griff, get the ladder," I had it before he finished the sentence. If Mom said, "Griff, be a sweetheart and cover this," I already had my debit card out. I thought that was normal. I thought you just absorb the sharp parts and keep going. 2 weeks ago, I pulled into my driveway after a 14-hour wedding shoot. It was nearly midnight. The porch light was on. The lemon trees smelled like something clean. I unlocked the door, stepped inside, and stopped. The house was empty. My couch gone. The IKEA bookshelves I'd assembled at 2 a.m. gone. My bed, my coffee table, the thrifted rug. The TV I'd paid off in 6 installments. Gone. Even the cheap salt lamps loan, once called Vibe Glue. The only thing left was a note on the kitchen counter written in my mother's careful looping cursive. "Don't be upset. We sold what you weren't using. It's all for Sloane's Paris program. You can sleep at Grandma's for now. Love you." I read it twice like maybe the words would rearrange themselves into something sane. Then my phone buzzed. "Dad, son," he said, voice warm like this was a friendly catch-up. "Your sister deserves Paris." I stared at the pale square on the counter where the microwave used to sit. "Do not worry about furniture," he added. "It's material, Paris's character." I leaned against a bare wall. I tried to laugh. Nothing came out. The house echoed. "Okay," I said. Just that calm, even like a cameraman steadying a shot. After the call, I stood in the middle of my empty living room and listened to the quiet. Somewhere a dog barked. A car passed. I looked at the note again. Then I opened my gear case, checked every camera, every lens, counted batteries like a prayer, and zipped it shut. I slept on the floor that night, hoodie as a pillow, my jacket over me, cold, flat. The lemon tree thumped the window in the wind. At 4 a.m, I stopped pretending to sleep and started writing down dates, amounts, and names. 14 days later, they came back from Paris. And by then, I had prepared something for Sloane. A gift bigger than furniture, the kind that doesn't fit in a box. When she saw it, she went quiet. If you want to understand why a grown man slept on his floor instead of exploding on the phone at midnight, you need the prequel. I've always been the background brother. Useful, reliable, unremarkable in a way that makes people feel safe asking for things. When we were kids, Sloane got the main stage, recital, pageants, birthday parties with themes, and rented ponies. My birthdays were pizza, paper plates, and Dad's joke about another year, another lens cap. I learned young that the camera points where the light already is. I learned to adjust. At 18, I bought my first DSLR with money from editing local commercials. Mom said, "You're lucky, you don't need college." Dad added, "If it doesn't work out, trade school." When it did work out slowly, then suddenly nobody said much. I shot softball highlights for $20. I cut together church videos for exposure. I filmed my uncle's second wedding for free because family. I didn't mind. I liked the work. The work liked me back. Quiet wins. Money was always this fog in our house. We're comfortable, Dad would say, patting his belly like it was a bank. Then he'd ask me to spot the electric just this month. Mom liked nice things she called investments in beauty. Hair, nails, a vase that cost the same as a month of my groceries. Sloane didn't have to ask. Her needs were woven into the schedule. If she needed a phone upgrade, somehow mine became due first, and we'll give yours to her and you take the promo deal. If she needed a dress, my card accidentally covered it, because your account is linked to the family Amazon from when you were in high school. Griffin, just dispute it later. I never did. I used to think keeping peace was love. You don't make waves because waves drown people. You learn to be flat water. Numbers started piling up like sandbags. 2 years ago, $1,200 to fix Sloane's bumper because she tapped a fire hydrant. 18 months ago, $612 for her textbook bundle. Money I sent at $117 a.m. and pretended not to notice I skipped rent late fees to do it. A year ago, $6,842 to clear a card she'd co-signed with Mom for points, and then forgot to pay. Last fall, $89 each month for her line on my phone plan because she needed faster data to upload reels. There were also the small things you don't count because they're small until they're not. Griff, can you cover gas? I'm literally at the light. She text. Apple Pay. Griff, can you grab groceries? I'm meal prepping. Venmo. Griff, we need your camera for a week. It's an emergency. It always was. Emergencies follow the golden childlike glitter. They shine and stick to everyone else. I kept working. I built a tiny real business. Word of mouth, repeat clients, a nonprofit that trusted me with their yearly fundraising film, a wedding venue that recommended me, 3 solid corporate clients who like that I make things look expensive without actually being expensive. I bought my little rental house because a friend of a friend needed a responsible tenant who wouldn't throw parties or poke holes in drywall. I signed. I paid on time. I planted that lemon tree. The day the furniture disappeared. I'd been shooting a wedding where the bride cried when her dad read a note he'd saved from when she was 5. My cameras ate emotion all day. I went home drained and happy. Then I walked into a shell. Mom's note said, "We sold what you weren't using." That part did something ugly in my stomach. Because I'd picked every piece of furniture myself in the past 2 years. I used the couch. I used the damn bed. I just never invited them over. I didn't flash it. Maybe that was the problem. If you don't perform your life for certain people, they edit it for you. I called my landlord at 6 a.m. He sounded groggy and horrified. "Your mother said you were moving out," he said. "She brought a woman who runs those estate sales very fast." I thought, "I'm so sorry, Griffin. I thought you told her to handle it." He kept apologizing. I told him it wasn't his fault. Then I called the number on the bottom of the tape notice. Circle and Key Estate Liquidation, Compassionate Downsizing. The woman said, "We collected $3,400 after fees. It went to your mother's card." Compassion. I texted Mom. "You sold my bed." She sent a heart emoji. "You'll understand when you have children." At noon, Dad called from the airport. He sounded proud. "First time in Paris," he said. "Your sister cried at the Eiffel Tower. She's finally getting what she deserves." "What she deserves?" I asked. "To feel special," he said. I looked around at my floor. Also, he added gently, "Stop being dramatic about furniture. We'll throw you a housewarming when you get a new place. Maybe you'll meet a nice girl who likes minimalism." He laughed at his own joke. "Okay," I said again. I don't know why. Maybe because arguing with a man already in Paris about the bed he helped sell is like yelling at a plane. That night, I took my camera to my grandmother's empty den and edited on the floor with a blanket under me. I made a list labeled what I pay for ongoing and another labeled one times. I wrote down dates, amounts, screenshots of transfers, bank lines highlighted, and the times I'd said yes and didn't even get a thank you. I printed some pages at the library because my printer was gone. On day 3, Mom sent photos. Sloane under a stone arch Sloane holding a pastry. The caption, "Paris is for dreamers." On day 5, my uncle texted, "Your mom says you're being difficult. Be nice. It's only money." He added a winking face and a thumbs up like we were in on a joke. On day 8, Sloane posted a reel of her spinning in a dress on a balcony. Rihanna in the background. The caption, "We get one life." On day 10, Mom finally mentioned what had happened. "Did you know your couch had a tear?" she wrote. "The buyers barely noticed." That was a blessing. I read it twice. I almost replied, "I noticed it was my couch." On day 11, I opened my savings and stared at the number. I could buy a new bed. I could buy 10, but I didn't want to patch a hole while the ceiling still leaked. The furniture wasn't the problem. The problem was the story we all kept telling. That I was a resource to be tapped. That Sloane's glitter was everyone's job to fund. That my yes would stay automatic forever. On day 12, Mom called from a museum gift shop. "Listen," she said, breathless. "Sloane's program is more than we thought. The housing upgrade is another $2,600, but it's really safer. And there's a media lab she can use." I told her you'd be thrilled to help. You work in media. It's like synergy. "Mom," I said. She lowered her voice. "Don't be petty." There it was. The word that gets used on kids like me when we stop absorbing. Petty, as if boundaries are a tantrum. "I'll talk to you when you're back," I said. "Griffin," she said suddenly sharp. "We're on a different continent, and I'm doing everything I can for your sister's future. Try meeting me halfway." "Okay," I said, because the halfway she wanted was my side of the line. On day 13, I went to the bank and closed the family emergency fund account I'd opened at 20. The teller asked if I wanted to explain why. "No," I said. "I think I finally understand why." On day 14, I unlocked my door to my empty living room and set up 2 light stands, my smallest camera, and a lav mic. I titled the project on my laptop, Paris/F Furniture/The Math. Then I made a second project with a different title. That one was for me. They landed on a Sunday. I know because Mom's location shared itself with me again like a boomerang. She forgets she re-enables it whenever she gets a new phone. JFK home. It said little airplane icon crawling across my screen. At 5 p.m., I got Dad's text. "Family dinner. 6 sharp. Sloane has news." I put on a clean shirt, packed my laptop, and drove to the house I grew up in. The porch smelled like rosemary and furniture polish. The door was unlocked. Griffy Mom cried from the kitchen. She hugged me in a way that said I was forgiven for a thing I hadn't confessed to. Paris was magical. Sloane is transformed. Sloane came in with airport hair and a scarf tied like a magazine. She kissed my cheek. "Missed you," she said, like we'd just gone a week without coffee. We ate roast chicken. Dad told a story about a waiter who called him Miss Sir like it was a promotion. Sloane pulled out her phone to show me a video of a fountain. Then Mom clashed her hands. "Okay," she said, smiling. "We have something special to discuss." I reached into my backpack and set my laptop on the table. "Me too," I said. Sloane giggled. "You first." "Sure," I said. I opened the first project. The title card read, "What I Pay For." The first frame was a screenshot. My bank transfer to Mom. $6,842. Subject line card payoff. I hit spacebar. The video played. Receipts. Dates. Little captions. My voice calm like a documentary I'd make for a client. April 4th, $612 for textbooks. April 29th, $89 phone line. May 13th, $1,200 bumper. June through December, $534 in miscellaneous Venmo. January, $340. Utilities you forgot were in my name. Mom laughed lightly. "This is dramatic." I didn't look at her. I let the math keep going. February, $400 for program application fees. March, $3,400 estate sale proceeds from my furniture. Dad stopped cutting his chicken. The next frame was my empty living room. Then a clip of my landlord's voicemail apologizing. I kept my hands flat on the table. "Griffin," Mom said, voice small now. "We didn't think you'd take it." Personally, Sloane added, "It's for my education." I paused the video and looked at my sister. "I'm glad you had a good trip," I said. "I really am, and I meant it." She looked sunlit and alive. "But you sold my bed." She rolled her eyes, then caught herself. We can get you a better one, she said. When the brand deals start hitting, I'll pay you back so fast. Dad cleared his throat. Son, your sister deserves. This isn't about deserve, I said. I clicked to the second project. A new title card, The Gift. The living room TV across from the table lit up when I cast my screen. The first frame was a simple gray background and a line of text. Effective today, these are my boundaries. I'd recorded myself reading them because my voice stays steady in voiceover. The mic doesn't care if your hands shake. 1. I will not fund Sloan's programs, residencies, trips, or upgrades. 2. I am removing every family member from my phone plan. Lines transfer tonight at midnight. I've already paid the final balance. 3. I will not provide loans or cash fronts. If there is an emergency, call 911. Not me. 4. If you need me to film something, you will receive my rate card in writing. 5. The spare key to my house needs to be returned tonight. 6. Any item removed from my home without my consent will be reported as theft. Mom's face crumpled. Griffin, she whispered. You can't talk to your mother like you're a landlord. I'm talking to you like an adult, I said. Sloan tried to laugh. You're making a whole presentation. I nodded to the screen. The next frame showed a screenshot of a police report confirmation number. I didn't file it yet, just the draft. I let that sit for a second. Then I clicked to the last slide. A photo of a simple, sturdy full-size bed frame and mattress scheduled for delivery to my house today. 7:00 p.m. paid by me. I turned to my sister. In front of me was a manila folder. Her name on it. I pushed it across the table. What is this? She said. A budget, I said. For your life, without my money. Inside, a prepaid month bus pass, a list of part-time jobs that matched her schedule, a checklist to move her number off my plan, and a printed letter I'd written with 10 sentences that were hard to write and harder to say. I watched her read, one hand lifting to her mouth. Dad stood up fast enough to rattle the glasses. You're punishing your sister for being talented. No, I said, standing too. I'm refusing to be stolen from again. He took a step toward me. Years of his height, years of his voice, filling rooms. We did what we had to, he said. I kept my tone even. This isn't about revenge, I said. This is about closure. The room went quiet like someone hit mute. Mom sank back down, tears blinking. We needed Paris, she said weakly. You needed a bed, I said. Sloan swallowed. Her eyes were bright, angry, then something else. She looked down at the folder again. I closed the laptop. I'll be at my place, I said. Text me when the key is ready. Don't walk out, Mom said. Voice breaking. I'm not walking away from you, I said. I'm walking back to me. I left my childhood home with my shoulders loose for the first time in years. In the driveway, the sky looked like a clean slate. My phone buzzed before I started the car. It was a single text from Sloan. Is that really my phone bill now? I typed back, yes. And then for a long time, she said nothing at all. The first 24 hours were loud in the wrong ways. Mom called 17 times. Dad 12, 2 aunts, 5 each. My uncle, who thinks sarcasm is leadership, left a voicemail. I guess we're doing spreadsheets now. By noon Monday, my call log looked like a slot machine stuck on the same 3 faces. I didn't answer. I went to my empty house, accepted the delivery guy's pity when they brought in the new bed, and made the mattress with clean sheets. Simple white. It looked like a truce. I set one lamp on a cardboard box and made coffee with a borrowed kettle. I filmed a small product video for a local brand because deadlines don't care about family drama. I kept moving my hands. At 2 p.m., Sloan texted a screenshot of her phone plan transfer page and said, "It wants a pen." I sent it. 10 minutes later, she wrote, "It says I need to pick a plan." I said, "Yes." She didn't reply. An hour later, she wrote, "This is robbery." I said, "Yep." At 6 p.m., Dad showed up on my porch without knocking. "Son," he said, stepping inside like I'd invited him. "You made your point. Return the spare key so we can stop this nonsense." He looked around at the new bed and the empty room. "You living like a monk now? That's not healthy." I held out my hand. "Key." He scoffed. You think I carry it? He patted his pockets. Your mother has it. Tell her to bring it, I said. He stared at me for a second, like waiting for the old griffin would conjure him back. When he saw I wasn't flinching, he tried a different angle. We raised you, he said low. We put a roof over your head for 18 years. We didn't invoice you. You also didn't sell my bed, I said. His jaw tightened. Sloane is a once-in-a-generation talent. She can also be a once-in-a-generation adult, I said. It's not either/or. He shook his head like I was speaking a language he didn't respect. You used to be kind, he said. I still am, I said. I'm just not a doormat. He left. The door stuck the way it always does when it's humid. The lemon tree brushed the window. I let my breath out slow. That night, I moved my gear into the bedroom so I could lock the door if someone decided to borrow a lens. I cooked eggs on a camping stove in the kitchen. I wrote an email to my 3 best clients explaining my temporary minimalist setup and offering them a small discount this week, my way of controlling one thing I could control. 2 replied within 10 minutes. Take your time. We're not going anywhere. By Wednesday, the number of missed calls hit 74. Mom's text shifted from scolding to sentimental to strategic. Family always forgives. Griffey, I miss your face. Can you please send $300? Sloane's card keeps declining for some reason. I replied, no. She sent a long message about how embarrassing it was to get declined at a boutique near Notre Dame. I didn't point out that she was already home. I didn't say that embarrassment can teach you things kindness can't. I didn't say anything at all. On Thursday, my grandmother called. I don't understand all this, she said, voice papery. But I do know beds are for sleeping and not selling. Your mother is stubborn like her mother. Give her a week. She'll bring the key. I love you, I said. I love you, too, she said. Also, I watched that video you made for the animal shelter. The sad pit bull made me cry and then donate. That's power. Use it for good. I'm trying, I said. Friday came with work. I shot a small restaurant piece. I sat on the new bed that night and edited, my laptop warm against my legs, and felt almost normal. At 10:03 p.m., my phone lit up with a paragraph from Sloane. I don't know how to do any of this, she wrote. I signed up for the wrong plan, and I can't figure out student housing, and my bank says there's a hold and mom is crying and dad is yelling, and I feel like I'm going to drown. I typed then deleted 3 versions of a lecture. Finally, I wrote, start with one thing. Phone first. Go to the store. Ask questions. Pay your own bill. You can do it. She didn't reply that night. The next morning, she sent a photo from inside a phone store. She looked small. The caption, this guy is helping. Half an hour later. Okay, it's done. Good, I wrote. Sunday. Mom texted. Dinner. 6. Come home. I responded. Bring the key. No answer. I went anyway. When I walked in, the dining table was set for 5. Dad at the head, Mom to his right. Sloane left. An empty spot and a key in the middle of my plate. Mom kept her eyes on the mashed potatoes. After grace, she cleared her throat. I overstepped, she said, every word like pulling a nail. I should have asked. That's true, I said. I kept my voice soft. Being right doesn't require volume. She looked up like she was checking if I'd punish her. I didn't think you'd mind, she said. You always help. I know, I said. That's why I had to stop. Dad started to say something, but Sloane touched his sleeve. She looked at me. I read the whole folder, she said. I actually didn't know half those numbers. I didn't ask because I didn't want to know. I know, I said. She pushed the key toward me. I'm sorry, she said, not blinking. For the bed, I took the key. It felt heavier than it should have. Thank you, I said. Dad stabbed a carrot like it was personally responsible. So what? We're just all accountants now, he muttered. Maybe we've been everything, but, I said. He rolled his eyes. You think you're better than us, because you can list things. I think I'm responsible for me, I said. And I'm done being responsible for you. We ate mostly in silence after that. No one asked about Paris. No one asked about work. Mom asked if I wanted leftovers. I said no. That felt like a metaphor. When I stood to leave, Mom reached for my arm. "You won't disappear," she said. "I'm not disappearing," I said. "I'm picking what I carry." Back at my place, I put the key on my own counter and stared at it until my eyes blurred. I slept hard and dreamless. Monday morning, something new happened. I woke up before my alarm. I made coffee. I opened my calendar and saw open space where there used to be other people's urgency. I walked to the lemon tree and picked one small, bright fruit and put it on the window, so like proof that life still makes things. Then I did something I'd postponed for a year. I raised my rates. I sent the new sheet with a kind, clean email. My scope has expanded. My value has too. 2 clients said yes immediately. One said, "We wondered when you do this." I bought a second lamp. I bought plates. I measured the living room and ordered a couch that didn't exist 6 months ago when all this started and would arrive next week. This time the couch would be mine because the key was mine because the decision was mine. In the middle of editing a food truck spot, my phone buzz. "Sloan, can I ask a really dumb question?" She wrote, "Always," I wrote back. "How do I set up autopay without accidentally putting it on your card?" I smiled. "You can't," I wrote. "That's the point." She sent a laughing emoji. "Then, I'm scared I'm going to mess up." "You will," I wrote. "Then you'll fix it." At 5 p.m., Mom sent a photo of a neatly made bed in what used to be my old room in their house. "If you ever need to stay here," she wrote. "Thank you." I wrote back. "I have one." That night, I watched my The Gift video again, not to rehearse the anger, to check my voice. It was calm. It stayed calm. I closed the laptop and stood in the empty living room. And for the first time in a decade, the quiet didn't feel like a warning. It felt like a beginning. 2 weeks later, the couch arrived. I signed, said it, sat, and didn't fall through. I squeezed a soft lemon into water and let the afternoon slide by. Phone face down. Mom texts less. Recipes, weather, dated memes. Dad hasn't apologized. He grunts hello to Grandma. Asks about my little business. Nods. Sloan pays her phone. Got a camera store job. Applied for a real internship. Bills are just paper now. I set walls and found doors. Dinner Sunday at 6 o'clock. I'll bring lemon pie and keep my keys in my pocket.